I agree with you. During the Biden administration, I called for people looking at Epstein files. Merrick Garland dropped the ball, as did Attorney General Bill Barr, as did Alex Acosta, a whole string of failures, but you are in charge. You have the power to change things, to hold these men accountable, and you're doing the opposite. You're protecting them. So I want to move on to another man.
Can I answer
Donald
that,
Trump.
though?
I want to move on to another
question. Can I answer your question about protecting
You answered the question.
You're saying no. I love this.
I want to discuss another man, Donald Trump, who is all over the Epstein files, like former Prince. Here's a video.
I have a UC.
Ms. Crockett from Texas is recognized for UC.
Thank you so much. Donald Trump's approval rating implodes on his strongest issue. This is from Newsweek today. It says 40% of people approve of Trump's handling of immigration and border security, while 60% disapprove.
Without objection,
that is a
admitted.
Net drop
Now I recognize the gentleman
20.
from California, Mr. Lieu.
Thank you, Attorney General Bondi, for being here today. I'm going to show you two photos.
Thank you.
I'm going to show you two photos of former Prince Andrew. Prince Andrew attended various parties with Jeffrey Epstein. Under the law Congress passed, you were allowed to redact photos to protect the victims of Epstein's sex trafficking operation. You redacted the photos of this victim's face because you were following the congressional law. Is that correct?
I'm sorry that we redacted the victim's
Because you were
face?
following the congressional law, correct?
Yes.
Okay. You have now established that please put the photos back up, that we are looking at a sex trafficking victim. Under the Federal Victims Trafficking Protection Act, not only is Jeffrey Epstein guilty, but anyone who patronizes Epstein's sex operation is also guilty of a crime. That's why I find it absolutely despicable that you sought to protect Epstein's clients, like former Prince Andrew. Last July, you closed the case on Epstein's abusers. The July 2025 memo from your Department of Justice stated, quote, "We did not uncover evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties." These two photos, please put the photos back up. These two photos staring you in the face are evidence of a crime and more than enough evidence to predicate an investigation against former Prince Andrew. So I ask you, Attorney General Pam Bondi, why did you shut down this investigation last July, and why have you not prosecuted former Prince Andrew?
I don't believe you asked Merrick Garland these questions when he was Attorney General and set before
I agree with you.
You twice.
I'm reclaiming my time.
Never
I agree with
mentioned
you. I agree with you. During the Biden administration, I called for people looking at Epstein files. Merrick Garland dropped the ball, as did Attorney General Bill Barr, as did Alex Acosta, a whole string of failures, but you are in charge. You have the power to change things, to hold these men accountable, and you're doing the opposite. You're protecting them. So I want to move on to another man.
Can I answer
Donald
that,
Trump.
though?
I want to move on to another
Can I
question.
answer your question about protecting
You
Prince
answered the
Andrew?
question.
You're saying no. I love this.
I want to discuss another man, Donald Trump, who is all over the Epstein files, like former Prince. Here's a video. Like former Prince Andrew, Donald Trump attended various parties with Jeffrey Epstein. I want to know, were there any underage girls at that party or at any party that Trump attended with Jeffrey Epstein?
This is so ridiculous, and that they are trying to deflect from all the great things Donald Trump has done. There is no evidence that Donald Trump has committed a crime. Everyone knows that. This has been the most transparent presidency. He's the one that asked that those files
I'm reclaiming my time.
be
I got your
released.
answer. You said there's no evidence.
Trump asked
Mr. Chairman, please stop the clock.
to sign the legislation This is,
Time,
this
I'd like
is
to take my
ridiculous.
time belongs to the gentleman from California.
Okay. I'm going to put up another document from a witness who called the FBI's National Threat Operations Center because I believe you just lied under oath. There is ample evidence in the Epstein file.
Don't you ever accuse me of a crime.
I believe you just lied under oath, and this is all on videotape. You said there's no evidence of a crime. I'm showing you, here is a witness statement who called into the FBI's Threat Operations Center. He drove Donald Trump around in a limo. He overheard what Donald Trump said to Jeffrey on his cell phone. He was so angry, he was gonna stop the limo and hurt Donald Trump. And he met a girl who said she was raped by Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. She later had her head blown off, and officers at the scene said that could not have been suicide. No one at the Department of Justice interviewed this witness. You need to interview this witness immediately. Epstein should rot in hell, so should the men who patronized his operation. And as we say here today, there are over 1,000 sex trafficking victims, and you have not held a single man accountable. Shame on you. If you had any decency, you would resign right after this hearing
The
concludes.
gentleman has expired.
May I respond?
Yeah, I don't know how you respond. No one can.
I
Well,
did not
can
ask a
respond,
question,
but
Mr.
He
Head.
doesn't
You're
want
allowed
to talk
to.
about
I did
the
not ask a
horrific
question.
crime in California. He does not want to talk about
I did not ask a
crime
question.
in his
She
state.
can't just
Madam
ad
Attorney
lib
General.
stuff.
Going
I
after
did not ask a
Donald Trump.
question.
Meeting will be in order. The gentleman has yielded back his time. I think our next witness will be.
All right, folks, I just watched that exchange, and wow. If you haven't seen it yet, buckle up, because what happened in that hearing room tells you everything you need to know about the political games being played in Washington right now. But before we get into it, welcome back to Voice of Truth. This is the channel where we cut through the noise, expose the spin, and stand up for facts, accountability, and common sense. If you're tired of the mainstream media narrative and you want real analysis from a patriotic perspective, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now. Like this video so more Americans can see it. And drop your thoughts in the comments below, because I want to hear what you think about what just happened. Now let's talk about it. We just watched Representative Ted Lieu go after Attorney General Pam Bondi in what can only be described as a political ambush. The topic? Jeffrey Epstein. Again. And of course, they try to drag President Donald Trump into it, because when in doubt, that's always the playbook. Lieu starts by bringing up redacted photos involving Prince Andrew and Jeffrey Epstein. He confirms that the DOJ redacted the victim's face in accordance with federal law protecting trafficking victims. That's not controversial. That's standard procedure. That's the law doing what it's supposed to do, protecting victims. But then it turns into something else entirely. Lieu tries to argue that simply appearing in photos is evidence of a crime, and that it should automatically trigger prosecution. Think about that standard for a second. If being in a photo with someone later accused of wrongdoing is enough to predicate an investigation, then half of Washington would be under investigation tomorrow. That's not how the justice system works. We don't convict based on guilt by association. We don't prosecute based on political pressure. We prosecute based on evidence that can stand up in court. Then he pivots to Donald Trump. Of course he does. He asks whether underage girls were present at parties Trump attended with Epstein. That's a loaded question. It's designed to create a headline, not to uncover truth. And when Attorney General Bondi says there is no evidence that Donald Trump committed a crime, Lieu accuses her of lying under oath, on camera, without presenting verified, adjudicated proof. Just an unverified witness statement that was never substantiated. Let's be clear about something. Allegations are not convictions. Claims are not proof. And repeating something dramatically in a hearing doesn't magically make it true. Bondi points out something important that most media outlets won't emphasize. Multiple administrations, including those led by Merrick Garland, Bill Barr, and Alex Acosta, all had access to Epstein-related files. If there were slam-dunk cases against high-profile individuals, why weren't they brought? Are we supposed to believe that every single attorney general from both parties participated in some grand coordinated cover-up? Or is it possible that the evidence required for prosecution simply wasn't there? As a right-wing patriot, here's my take. If anyone committed crimes in the Epstein operation, I don't care if they're Republican, Democrat, royal, billionaire, or celebrity. They should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Period. No exceptions. Justice doesn't wear a party badge. But what I saw in that hearing wasn't a serious effort to secure justice for victims. It was a political performance. It was about headlines. It was about creating viral clips. It was about tying Donald Trump to Epstein yet again without presenting new, prosecutable evidence. And when Bondi tried to respond, she was interrupted. When she defended herself, she was accused of crimes. When she stated there's no evidence against Trump, that statement was treated as if it were criminal in itself. That's not oversight. That's theater. There are over 1,000 trafficking victims tied to Epstein's crimes. That's the real tragedy here. Those victims deserve serious investigations, careful prosecution, and results that hold up in court, not partisan grandstanding that turns their trauma into a campaign talking point. The American justice system is built on due process, evidence, burden of proof, presumption of innocence. Those principles apply to everyone, including Donald Trump. If we abandon those principles because we don't like someone politically, then we're no better than the systems we criticize around the world. And let's not ignore the timing. We're heading into another intense political season. Approval ratings, border issues, investigations, everything is being weaponized. So what do we get? A viral moment accusing the current administration of protecting criminals, complete with dramatic language and calls for resignation. Here's the bottom line. If credible, verifiable evidence exists against anyone involved in Epstein's crimes, bring it forward. Charge them. Try them. Convict them in a court of law. That's justice. But if the goal is to smear political opponents by association, that's not justice. That's strategy. And as patriots, we have to be smart enough to see the difference. I want to know what you think. Did Representative Lieu make a compelling case? Or was this political theater? Do you believe the DOJ is handling this appropriately? Should more transparency be provided? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's have a real conversation. If you appreciate this kind of honest, unapologetic analysis, hit that like button so this video gets pushed out to more people. Subscribe to Voice of Truth if you haven't already. Share this with someone who needs to see the full picture beyond the headlines. Because at the end of the day, truth matters. Justice matters. And America deserves both. I'll see you in the next one.